Watch out! Watch out! She freaks out like I'm gonna step on her flowers.
It's a lot of work to keep impatient and petunia beds looking nice.
Oh, she's got like a kabillion of them. I hardly make it out of there alive.
Oh, stop exaggerating.
Well, what do I say to her?
Just run over and ring the doorbell and check on her, and I'll see you back here in less than 10 minutes.
5?
Fine, 5.
Well, why don't you go?
Jacob, because I said so. She's really very nice.
I think I made it over and back in record time. There's no way I was going to stay any longer than I had to. She was old. Even when I was little, she was old. She spent hours in her yard hunched over her petunias, picking off the dead blooms. We called her the garden lady. That's all she did. When I was going out after dinner to play with my friends, she was coming in for the night, with the shades drawn and only a light on her, too. Didn't she ever get tired of being alone? We didn't talk much, but when we did, she had this funny way of saying things. I usually just nodded my head and pretended to understand. Honestly, I tried to avoid her as much as possible. If only it were that easy.
Jacob, will you do me a favor?
Oh, what?
Will you bring this card to Mrs. Kinchke?
No!
I haven't seen her outside lately, and I just want to make sure she's okay.
Well, why don't you go?
Because I asked you to, and don't you roll your eyes at me. Now run this over. It's good for you to get to know older people. She's a lovely woman. Hey, and we could be nice enough to keep her company sometimes. When I was your age, we used to spend every Sunday afternoon at Grandma's. We'd just sit around and play cards, King's Corners, go fish.
Go fish?
Forget it. You know, older people can teach you a thing or two, young man.
Right, like before refrigerators and television sets. The good old days.
Yes, the good old days, and the not so good old days.
Okay. Enough of the lecture. Just give me the card.
I rang the doorbell. I rang it twice even. She came to the door, I gave her the card, and that was it. I guess it was about 2 weeks later, my mom went over and rang the doorbell and no one answered. Mom came home and called the police. I'd never seen her so freaked out before. The police came and they found Mrs. Kinchke laying at the bottom of her stairs. She had fell and broke her hip. She laid there for more than a day. After the hospital, she couldn't keep up her house anymore. Her gardens. They moved her to the nursing home, St. Mark's.
Jacob, come on, we're going.
Not St. Mark's. We were just there last week.
She likes you.
Mom.
She called you the pretty boy.
It smells weird there.
And you smell weird after basketball practice. There's weird smells everywhere. You can take it. By the way, we need to bring some flowers. I want you to climb the fence and pick some flowers out of her garden.
And what will the Carlsons say about me climbing over their fence?
We're bringing her flowers from her yard.
From her yard?
Yes, I'm glad you were listening. Flowers from her yard.
So we get there, and what does my mom do? She leaves the room saying she'll be right back. The last thing I wanted was to be alone with Mrs. Kinchke. I think she thought I was her son. She kept talking to me, telling me not to go. It was weird. To be perfectly honest, as a grown-up, I prefer women my own age. But strangely enough, I find myself as an adult man 3 times a week I drive to St. Mark's. But not because my mom's telling me to. Mrs. Kinchke talks about all kinds of flowers. Petunias, morning glories, tulips. And if I don't bring her some, she gets very, how should I say it? Annoyed with me? Where are my impatience? My impatience! She started to talk about her life in Belgium, the war, World War II. She wasn't Jewish, but somehow connected. I'm not sure. She was married. I figured out she had children. They were sent to the camps. The men were sent one way and the women another. I'd read enough history books to get the gist. She told me they took her babies right out of her arms, and she never saw them again. We'll be late.
Look at you.
What? I just don't want to be
Late. Mrs. Kinschke would like that you want to be on time.
It's her funeral. We should be on time.
You're right. You know, she always liked you. She thought you were so pretty.
We got there a few moments before the service started. It was small. How many? Just a handful, including us. The minister got up and talked about Mrs. Kinschke. She had gone to his church on Liberty Street until she couldn't drive anymore. Honestly, that was the worst funeral I'd ever been to. And I've been to, well, not too many funerals, but this one, I didn't like it. I couldn't talk about it for days. I didn't talk much about anything for days. It's funny how it bothered me. When I look back at it, there was one thing that was so out of place. There just weren't enough flowers.
To me, behold, to me, 'cause I'm the least of these. Yes, I'm the least of these, 'cause I'm the least of these. I'm the least of these. Beloved, beloved, be grace to me. Be peace to me, 'cause I'm the least of these. Yes, I'm the least of these. Yes, I'm the least of these. Yes, I'm the least of these. My heart is crying out, my hands are reaching out. My heart is crying out, my hands are reaching out. Beloved, beloved. I'm the child without a home. I'm the widow left alone. So be loved to me. Yeah, 'cause I'm the least of these. Yes, I'm the least of these. Behold to me.